Колеги, доброго дня. Продовжуємо роботу.
Colleagues, good afternoon. We continue our working day in the UCMC. I am very glad to greet esteemed guests in the UCMC. Our speakers are Bishop Borys Gudziak, President of the Ukrainian Catholic University, head of the Diocese of St. Volodymyr the Great in Paris for the Ukrainian of Byzantine Rite in France, Switzerland, and the Benelux countries, Reverend Ivan Datsko, President of the Institute of Ecumenical Studies of the Ukrainian Catholic University, Antoine Arjakovsky, founder of the Ecumenical Social Weeks in Ukraine, and Popova, Director of the Department for Culture of the Kyiv City State Administration. I'm giving the floor Glory to Jesus Christ for the 10th year in succession. By initiative of Professor Arjakovsky, we have been organizing ecumenical social weeks in Lviv. This is the Western European modern. As Mr. Antoine was born in France, he brought this model to Ukraine, and in Lviv the ecumenical social weeks are very popular. If even I asked for a break for 1 year, then the city's council would say for me, please not do that. Patriarch Sviatoslav said to me, we need ecumenical social weeks in Kyiv, in the capital of Ukraine. And this year, for the first time, we organized this social week here in Kyiv, in the capital of Ukraine. And we want to hope it would be successful so that we can organize social weeks in future. Ecumenical Social Week will be divided into several parts. Prayers part, then in the afternoon we would address the matters of dignity, service, solidarity, and how to serve, how to create a new format of life in Ukraine. Ukrainian, European, and Christian lifestyle, because at 125th anniversary of Patriarch Joseph, we will be demonstrating the exhibition Patriarch Joseph the Blind, to be yourself, how to be yourself. On June 8th, this would be both ecumenical and entrepreneurship day. We have such an organization, Ukrainian Christian Academic Society, and we set question to us unity of Christians of Ukraine in the new format, where we will be talking very clearly whether we want this unity or we only talk that we want it. If we really want it, we should work, not only talk. If we do not want it, then let's not start then. At the same time, here various confessions and churches representatives will speak, so I invite all of you to come. Tomorrow, Dr. Zinovy Svereda will be moderating the discussion on modern cooperative movement in Ukraine as a way of strengthening communities. We have many potential entrepreneurs in Kyiv. People are interested in economics. Let's do this in Christian spirit as well, because it is possible to be good entrepreneurship and at the same time good Christian, honest businessman and entrepreneur. It is possible to be. Tomorrow in the afternoon we will discuss social service. It is relevant. Social services will be discussed, and foreign and Ukrainian panelists will talk about this. The affiliate of Ukrainian Catholic University will hold the camp for youth, where also Bishop Borys will speak, and at 9 o'clock on June 9, I invite all of you to the concert of folk and spiritual music prayer for Ukraine, where also National Bandura Chapel of Ukraine will give performance, as well as Rivutsky Municipal Academic Male Choir and Academic Chamber Choir Krishchatik. And there we will have the opportunity also to have a meeting with His Beatitude Svetoslav. All these events will be held in Kyiv in the days of Christian sorrow, because Lubomir Guzar died, and almost all of us will come for prayer. Thank you.
These weeks are designed for questions and finding solutions and relevance of social issues and problems. To your opinion, what is the most essential thing to draw Ukrainians' attention to? Thank you. I represent the French Social Week, which takes place in France, has been taking place in France for about 100 years. Such events, our social insurance, for example, occurred owing to suggestions of the social weeks in the 30s. After the Second World War, de Gaulle and other presidents and people took these they agreed to this idea of social weeks to implement social insurance in France. And also we had other suggestions from Christians, from the social doctrine of the Catholic Church that has been developing since 1891. We have all these ideas on minimum salaries for the poor and unemployed, or dwelling for people without dwelling. All the Christians have brought a lot of good things owing to social weeks, and I'm happy that Ukraine has had many good proposals during the last 10 years. Also in Lviv, we met with various social churches, and the idea of percentage philanthropy was a good suggestion that hasn't been implemented yet, but it seems to me that has future. It has future. And I remember we had various social weeks starting from democracy with Arseniy Yatsenyuk. It was before the Maidan, and we spoke a lot about dignity. I remember that Bishop Borys speaking about human dignity. So this year you saw now we have the topic dignity, service, solidarity. We have a lot of things to do, and we will have suggestions presented at the end of the week. I personally, as a historian, believe that Christians of various churches have to make specific suggestions for the sake of peace between Russia and Ukraine, between Russia and the Western Europe. We have a real war, and we observed it quite recently when President Putin came to France and met with President Macron, who was said that we had at least information war, propaganda. Diplomats say that there are Minsk agreements, but everybody understands that these Minsk agreements do not work. They don't give fruits and results, and also we don't have solutions to the war problems. So it seems to me that there is an opportunity for intellectual people, for historians to meet and to look at profound reasons of the separation between Russia and Ukraine on the one hand, Russia and Europe on the other hand. We have specific proposals to create a commissions with representatives from different countries, of different churches, because you will understand that we also have a problem between the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, the Church of Moscow Patriarchy, and other Orthodox churches that are failing to find a common language on ecclesiology, how to understand communication between the church and the state. All these issues do not have a consensus. Therefore, these weeks are very important, and I'd like to thank the mayor to extend my gratitude to his representative, Diana Popova, for the powerful support of this project, and also all the churches present here. Thank you very much. I have such a simple question. Why is it very important to have this week in Kyiv, Tatiana? You know, really, when for the first time we met each other and I saw the purposes and tasks set by the Ecumenical Social Week in Ukraine in front of itself, I think it's symbolic that in the place of the heart of our country, this heart of our country should have events and projects to unite the country from inside. It seems to me that these projects enable us to understand each other better and to look at each other, at ourselves from another angle. When we are talking about communism, in fact, we have to look not at differences, but at common things. And this is the best way to start a dialogue. I believe that the second symbolic thing is that this year all Europe is celebrating 500 years of the Reformation. It's an important thing that gave a difference, marked a difference between confessions and churches and all Christians. And we have an opportunity to sit down at one table, common table, and to find common things. So we are all absolutely united and common, and to follow the way of Christ. Let's find this way together. I would like to say what it is to me, because when we all found ourselves on the Maidan, and when we heard what was happening to the country, and it happened in Kyiv, after that the word dignity and service was understood by everyone differently. And when I sit next to bishops, I cannot say what I'm feeling inside. I'm a little bit even scared because it's a truthful service. But when we faced a choice, then we selected to serve. The civil service, of course, cannot be compared to what is being done by bishops, but it's the way of service and it's the place, it's the way of volunteers. And it seems to me that all these examples and our own examples can be very demonstrative. It's what we are not moving further, but what we are doing. It seems to me this is the best way which can help people to believe in themselves and to find their own way to do something, to feel themselves close to Ukraine, maybe to this church or another church, but to find the way to extend their hand and to stand together to renew the country, to restore the country. That's why I'm very thankful that this Ecumenical Social Week took place in Kyiv, and I'm very happy that our spiritual and folk choirs will contribute to showing that Kyiv has very important cultural institutions. I hope that all our academics that will take part in important discussions, I hope they will also inspire us with wisdom that will inspire young people as well. And I hope that we will have these weeks from year to year, and they will draw the authorities' attention every time. And it's a pity that the Reverend Bishop will be with us, but unfortunately he won't be with us, but we will remember his wisdom. He will always be with us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Dear Bishop, the name of this week and the dignity, service and solidarity, we can say that dignity takes the first place, or service can take the second place, and then solidarity is the third. Are they... or maybe all these things should be together with every Ukrainian. Evidently, all these concepts and notions should come together in one bouquet, in one set. They should be combined in the heart and the soul of every person in our common social body, national body. I would like to share with you with some beliefs, with some ideas from the angle of Paris. I had a very dense schedule, and I came from Paris especially for this Ecumenical Social Week that is taking place for the 10th time in Ukraine, and I believe it's important not only to Ukraine. Today we in Paris on the Saint-Germain Boulevard, the historical quarter, Latin quarter of Paris, we can see from it 20 or 30 Ukrainians come to France every week to this very point with an intention to stay for a long time, if not permanently. The wave of immigration from Ukraine is transforming into a wave of evacuation. Villages, particularly Western Ukrainian villages, are getting empty today. People feel lack of joy in front of their economic and social challenges. They feel kind of despair. We cannot respond to all the problems of 40 million people, but it can evidence the fact that we don't have to be desperate. And it confirms that what we saw on the Maidan is true. And it confirms that God works in our history, and we as Christians have to evidence this altogether. Maybe the most of the audience don't remember the Soviet Union. They can hardly imagine it. It's non-existent. This trouble, this Yanukovych regime doesn't exist any longer. We have new, very important challenges, and we can respond to them only in the spirit of solidarity, in the spirit of the common recognition of dignity, and in our desire to of common service. This is an ecumenical week which is taking place for the 10th time, is an evidence that the initiative that wasn't very noticeable even by church heads or leaders, that was met with skepticism by from different people in Lviv, is still lasting. It has authenticity, and I would like to speak to every individual or every reader. You on your place have opportunities to change your life and your country, but you cannot do it by yourself. You can do it only in solidarity, in community, in unity. When you recognize your dignity, and when you help through service, you have your neighbor to discover his or her own dignity. These terms seem to be abstracts, but we saw on the Maidan, seemingly spontaneously, people united around these values and principles, and it pushed away certain evil from our country. We have many devils here who prevent us from normal living, who send our people away into immigration. That's why I came here, sparing neither time nor effort, because I am confirmed that these meetings and conversations inspire young people to go further, to move further. We will have two groups. We will have the Leadership Academy. I had two teams of the Leadership Academy in Paris. I welcomed them in Paris from Kharkiv and Poltava region. These people, these young people, believe in the future of their country, and they will work on it in the spirit of dignity, service, and solidarity. We will have to multiply the circle of these courageous young young people and people young with spirit, because these challenges are very great and enormous. Let God bless this, and may God bless this initiative, this communication, all the meetings, and all the and all the challenges, all the steps towards solidarity. Thank you very much. As Reverend Bishop Ivan said, on Friday we would have a meeting with young people. Maybe if you are more interested, we will tell you in more details about the issues that will be discussed during this meeting. This will be a kind of bar camp for young people, and we'll have a sincere conversation on the topic living orientations on the way of evidence, service, and communication, moderated by the director of the center, Oksana Kulakovska, a very interesting lady, which is able to create a wonderful atmosphere. And together we will be with Ulana Suprun, who is an acting minister of healthcare of Ukraine, and who is fighting a very corrupted system today. And she will can tell you a lot of things. She has done a lot to our servicemen on the front line, and she organized urgent life-saving activities for them or at the beginning of the war. And we will also have the director of the Baba Halamaga publishing house, who issues wonderful literature to children, to young people, and who was recognized by, awarded by the All-Ukrainian Shevchenko Premium. And within this context, we will try to answer the questions how to communicate today, how to serve today in this postmodern, this post-communism, post-Maidan Ukrainian society. Everyone is welcome. This is Mazepe, 10A Mazepe Street on Friday. What time? At 10. At 10 in the morning. I'd like only to add, you know, we are not talking about Christian issues, about not philosophic, about only philosophical issues. We want the people of Ukraine to live better, young people to develop themselves, to smile, to make jokes. It's possible to be an honest businessman. Ukrainians think that they should steal. No. You can make money and at the same time to be a decent, a constituent Christian. Although it's a meeting with young people, I'm not young anymore, but I will go there. Maybe I will share my thoughts with these people to tell these young people, you can do so many things in this Ukraine. And we are senior people, can help them. So our Ukrainian Catholic University is a prayer house, is a philosophy and wisdom house. But this is an institution where we learn to live, to love each other, to love God, to love our country, and to create a better society. And this is a purpose of ecumenic social weeks. That's why I also encourage you to come, welcome everyone who is interested in our good science, science things. We are separated in churches. We need to want to be united. It will be a starting point for young people. And tomorrow morning, we will pray to the peace of the soul of Patriarch Volodymyr and to admire Ukrainian choir art. Good morning. I'm Alexander. I'm a representative of Catholic television. I would like to emphasize, since Borys Gudziak, Bishop, is the head of the Benelux in Switzerland, Benelux countries. Maybe you know, in France there is a village that was founded during the Second World War, where brothers, monks, helped refugees from the Second World War, and many people come there, even Muslims and Christians, go there to communicate with each other from various countries. These are young people till 30. Don't you think that it's a mission of Ukraine to unite not only Christians, but also people from different confessions, and to encourage them to ecumenical events in Ukraine? Thank you. This is according to this example that you mentioned, TZ. TZ is a monastery in its essence. It exists because people dedicated their whole life to God, and it has Catholics and Protestants and Orthodox followers who live a common monk life. To follow this model, we should have this foundation that gives a visible fruit. These great meetings of young people are can be possible because people dedicate their whole life to the prayer that becomes the foundation of their service. From Paris, it's difficult to me to tell the Ukrainian Christians what they should do, what should be done by representatives of various confessions. But I would like to draw your attention that you are presenting an example to France, because in some circles and even church circles, there is a fashion to say, look, we have preserved at least something, and there in the West, you know, there is a demoralization, all the traditional values have been ruined, and now we have all the worst things that you can only imagine is coming to us. Moving from Ukraine to France, such phenomena as profound. There's a profound consciousness and comprehension as to the all humanity solidarity. France, that could be represented by Monsignor Pascal Goldbishop, helps Christians to the east, to the Near East, to Iraq, to Iran and Syria. We can and we have to be open to various initiatives existing in different countries. Social week we are having today, as was mentioned by Professor Arjakovsky, is an example to France. What does it mean? It means that we, Ukrainians, have to live a life in our church environment, in our civil and political environment, to give examples that could be valuable to French, to Dutch, Chilean people, Australians. Still on the Maidan, I tried to emphasize that the moment of a dignity would be mature when we became donors. The Euro Maidan, which wants only benefits from Europe, is not mature. It can sound paradoxical, but we have to get mature to grow into donors to our neighbors on the West and also on the East. I am deeply convinced that Ukraine's mission is still in front of us. We have to share particular values, a particular way of life that we have to develop among us. Yesterday, the Ukrainian Catholic University had a delegation, a French delegation, headed by Bishop Golnishep, and one general, retired general, who works in this foundation, Mr. Gerard Glaise, said, you know, I see here what I haven't seen in any university, such ethicism, such relations among people. If the educational level is reflected in what I see, then something extraordinary exists here. For example, he saw in the university that the university history has a certain demonstration of solidarity, coexistence and communication of people of people with students. They help these people with students. They help the post-Soviet individual to lower his mask, to overcome the channel of communication, because they don't have differences. They don't differentiate between a bishop, a rector, a rich or a poor. This is made in Ukraine. That wasn't tried by any university. We are doing this for expert, if God blesses us. Also, so in Ukraine, we can and we are. It's our mission, and we even have to to look at the but also to live our life the way that should be mentioned at the WTN Atlantic, because that Mr. works for Alabama network. That somebody to have somebody say, listen, you see how they love each other in Ukraine. You see how their Christian love was transformed into certain structures and systems that should be mentioned, borrowed by us. At the beginning, it is. It sounds like a very ambitious thing. But my experience with young people in Ukraine showed. Either it's at the university, either it's on the Maidan, that God is working on the land and gives blessings. That land, no less than the New York, Berlin, Singapore. We need to believe in this, and we can believe in this only in solidarity when we are together, because individuals and individualism is a great burden, large burden, heavy burden of this culture. Individualism is getting lost, is getting itself into despair and surrenders, disappoints.
Thank you. Are there any more questions to our speakers? I would like to thank you for your wisdom. Thank you very much. This is extraordinary, and I wish us as much use as many young people as possible to hear what you are saying, and in the time of events which are planned and for the ecumenical social week, for this seed of faith to grow in young souls. Thank you.